There is a plastic syrup bottle hanging upside down from a maple branch on the ridge behind my deer camp right now. It is tied up there with a piece of paracord about chin height on a grown man, and it has been dripping slow amber syrup for 6 days straight. Last Tuesday morning, my trail camera took a picture that would stop any deer hunter's heart. 2 mature bucks, heavy racks, standing under that bottle in full daylight with their tongues out like a couple of kids sharing a soda. That bottle cost me about $5 at the grocery store. Not the hunting aisle, the breakfast aisle, and every fall, hunters walk right past it to spend $40 on attractant powders that wash away in one good rain. But here's what took me years to learn from the old timers. Whether that bottle pulls in does at midnight or giant bucks in daylight has almost nothing to do with what is inside it. Stay with me to the end because it comes down to where that bottle hangs. And one specific thing a whitetail's nose does with a smell sitting at head height. Nobody ever explains that part, I will. I'm Donna Larsen, I'm 52 years old. I live in the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and my dad Ray had me in a deer stand before I was 8 years old. I shot my first buck at 11 with his old lever action 30-30. And 44 seasons later, I run the same deer camp I grew up in. Most of what I'm about to show you came from Dad and the old timers at that camp, and my freezer is full of venison every single year because I listened. Now let's talk about that hunting aisle for a minute, because I want you to picture it. Whole shelves of bags and bottles and blocks, every one of them with a monster buck on the label and a price tag between $15 and $50. The boys at my camp have bought most of them over the years. I tended bar at our town supper club for 20 years, and I have listened to grown men argue about deer attractants the way other folks argue about football. And almost every one of those stories ends the same way. A pile of expensive powder on the ground, a week of rain, and a trail camera full of raccoons and one nervous doe at 2 a.m. The big bucks either never came or they came in the dark, took one sniff, and never came back. Dad always said the deer don't care what you spent. The companies selling that stuff need you back every season, so the bags get shinier and the prices climb. The old timers version costs about $5, lasts a week per bottle, and I have watched it pull bucks in shooting light. But the bottle is the cheap part and the easy part. The reason those ground piles go nocturnal and the reason my bottle gets daylight visits is the exact head height secret I promised you, and we will get there. First, you need the recipe, the rigging, and the one legal chore you do before any of it. Now, the trick I'm teaching today is one out of 101 I wrote down in a book called Donna's Whitetail Bible. That's 101 field-tested whitetail tricks from my 44 seasons, written for hunters who already do the basics right and still ride home with an empty truck bed. It covers turning nocturnal camera bucks into daylight shots, figuring out why a good stand went dead, hunting around other people's pressure, and cheap field substitutes for the expensive gear. No ads in it, no $400 gadgets, just the stuff that fills tags. Right now, it is $17, marked down from $47. That is less than 1 tank of gas to your lease, for tricks that Dad's generation paid for with whole seasons of trial and error. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, friend. Top off your coffee and let's build this thing. Step 0 comes before the store. You're going to check your state's baiting and feeding rules, and then you are going to check your county, because they are not always the same. In some states, you can hang this bottle all year long. In some states, it is legal for summer camera surveys, but has to come down before season opens. And in a long list of counties, including plenty back home in Wisconsin, it is banned outright, period. 5 minutes on your state wildlife agency's website settles it. If your ground is on the banned list, the bottle stays home, and you watch the rest of this video anyway, because the head height lesson at the end works on natural licking branches too, and that is legal everywhere. Dad always said the deer don't care what you spent. Well, the warden doesn't care what you meant. Do the 5 minutes. Now the shopping trip. Drive past the hunting aisle and do not stop. Go to the breakfast aisle. You are looking for the cheapest bottle of pancake syrup on the shelf, the store brand, the kind that is mostly corn syrup. It runs about $5 and plenty of stores charge less. Do not buy the real maple syrup. I know some of you boys want to spoil the deer, but the fancy stuff is thin, and thin syrup pours itself out in one afternoon. The cheap corn syrup is thick. Thick drips slow, and slow is what keeps one bottle working for about a week. One bottle, 1 week. That is the whole grocery bill. While you are there, grab the smallest jar of peanut butter in the store, and I will show you where 1 spoonful of it goes. Home to the workbench or the tailgate, either one works fine. Take about 3 feet of paracord or baling wire. Tie it tight around the base of the bottle, so the bottle can hang upside down with the cap pointing at the ground. Now, take a sewing needle or the very tip of your pocket knife. Poke 3 small holes in the cap, 3 holes. Not 10, 3, because 10 holes empties a week of syrup in a day and a half. Hold the bottle upside down over the sink and watch the drip. You want a slow bead every few seconds, not a stream. If nothing comes out, warm the bottle in your hands for a minute and check again. And that right there is the little engine inside this whole trick. Cool mornings keep the syrup thick and stingy. Then the afternoon sun warms that plastic bottle, the syrup thins out, and the drip picks up speed through the last hours of daylight. So the smell in the woods runs strongest in the evening, which happens to be exactly when deer stand up and start moving. The bottle rings its own dinner bell and the sun winds it for you. Last chore at the tailgate, smear 1 spoonful of that peanut butter around the outside of the bottle. But where this bottle hangs matters more than everything I just said, and the wrong spot is where nearly everybody blows it. Here is the picture. Do not walk to the middle of your food plot or the open corner of a picked cornfield and hang it in plain view. A mature buck did not get old by standing in the open licking a bottle at noon. Instead, back into the cover. Find the shaded edge where the thick stuff meets a trail, somewhere between where deer bed and where they feed in the evening. Go 20 or 30 yards inside that shade line. If you know a scraped line or a rubbed sapling from last fall, even better, hang it in that neighborhood. Now the branch itself. You want a live branch you can reach with a clear patch of dirt underneath for your camera to watch. Tie the bottle so the cap hangs 4.5 to 5 feet off the ground. 4.5 to 5 feet. That is about chin height on a grown man. That height sounds like a fussy little detail? It is the whole ball game, and the why is the payoff I promised you at the start. So hold on to it. Set your trail camera 10 to 15 yards back and face it north if you can, so the rising and setting sun does not white out your pictures. Smear the last of the peanut butter on the branch bark beside your knot. And one more thing about choosing the tree. Pick one you can slip in and out of from the roadside without walking through the bedding. Your boots write a story in those woods every visit, so keep the story short. Now let's talk honestly about what happens next, because I will not sell you a fairy tale. The first night, your camera will most likely fill up with does, fawns, and raccoons. Lord, the raccoons. You will get more raccoon pictures than a garbage route. That is fine. Every tongue that touches that bottle is free advertising, and the payoff will tell you why. Night 2 and night 3 usually bring the young bucks, the forkhorns, and the basket racks, sniffing around like teenagers at the supper club buffet. but the bucks you are actually after tend to show between night 3 and night 7, and nearly always the same way, on the downwind side at the edge of the frame. Sometimes your first clue is nothing but a set of antler tips floating in one dark corner of one picture. Then, as the days stack up and nothing bad happens to the other deer, the daylight visits begin, almost always in the last hour of light. So your job is to keep it dripping. Go back every 4 or 5 days at midday in rubber boots and swap in a fresh bottle quick and quiet. Every 4 or 5 days, midday in and out in 5 minutes. A bottle that hangs dry for 2 days can undo a week of patience. Before the payoff, let me save you from the 4 ways I have watched good hunters ruin this. Mistake number 1, hanging it in the wide open like we covered. Because a bottle in the open trains deer to visit at 2 in the morning, and that is all it will ever do. Mistake number 2, checking it every single day. Every trip in leaves your scent on the ground, and a mature buck reads that ground the way you read a newspaper. Midday, every 4 or 5 days, and that schedule does not bend. Mistake number 3, letting it run dry right when the big one started coming. Keep a spare bottle behind the truck seat so there is never an excuse. And mistake number 4, the big one. Somewhere in week 2, some fella decides the drip is too slow, unscrews the cap, and dumps the whole bottle in a puddle on the dirt. He figures more smell means more deer. And from that day on, his spot goes quieter and his pictures go dark. Why on earth would more syrup mean fewer deer in daylight? That question is the doorway to the secret I have been holding all video. And you have earned it. So let's walk through it. 2 things, and the first one is plain physics you have felt on your own skin. Smell poured on the ground pools like spilled milk. The grass caps it, the dew pins it down, and the cool air near the dirt barely moves, so that puddle of sweet smell dies within a few yards of where it landed. That is why the ground dump goes quiet. But a scent source hanging 4.5 to 5 feet up sits above all that clutter, up where the air actually travels. And in the evening, as the day cools, the air on a ridge starts sliding downhill like slow water. The old-timers called it the evening drift, and you have felt it on the back of your neck at last light. That drift picks up the thin ribbon of syrup smell off your bottle and carries it down the slope, across 200 and 300 yards of country, right through the cover where deer stage before dark. A buck cutting the downwind side hits that sweet ribbon and follows it back like a string tied to his nose. Height is reach. Now the second thing, and this is the one that puts bucks on it in daylight. A whitetail's whole social life runs through branches at exactly that height. Over every scrape in the woods hangs a licking branch, chin high, where every deer in the section leaves scent from its forehead and its mouth, and reads who else has been through. It is the message board for the whole neighborhood. So to a buck, a sweet sticky bottle at licking branch height is the busiest message board in the county, because every doe and raccoon that touched it left a calling card behind. And checking the message board is the one errand a buck will still run in shooting light as fall comes on. I tended bar for 20 years, and the same rule holds for deer and men. Put one interesting thing on the counter and the regulars will find a reason to stop by. That picture on my camera, 2 heavy bucks side by side with their tongues out, that is just 2 old boys leaned on the bar at happy hour. You did not hang bait, friend? Not really. You hung a $5 conversation piece at exactly the height where whitetails hold their conversations. And that chin height rule is exactly the kind of thing Dad and the old-timers handed me for free. So I put 101 of them in Donna's Whitetail Bible, where they can't die with the men who taught me. It is $17 today, marked down from $47. That is less than 1 bag of the powder the rain already stole from you, for tricks that keep filling tags for the next 20 seasons. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you used to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So there it is. One $5 bottle from the breakfast aisle, 3 pinholes hung chin height from a shaded branch, and the evening drift does your advertising for you. What's the one piece of gear you regret buying? Put it below, friend. We've all got one. I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you how to build a mock scrape that real bucks take over as their own, using nothing but a stick and 5 quiet minutes. And the one detail about the branch overhead that decides whether they adopt it or walk right on past. Keep your wind right and your coffee hot, and I'll see you in the woods.